Hey, this is Pranav here, and this is part 3 of me building my big idea in public. So, if you are a new visitor, every week I take one big idea, one core message from a thought leader, an expert that I like, that I admire, and I try to deconstruct that big idea. But in this particular series, I am sharing my struggles of building my big idea because, hey, it's always easy to do it for others. But when it comes to building it for yourself, there are some legit, real struggles. So, in the first two parts, we basically covered that why I transitioned into helping my clients with their big idea, how I realized that I can't hide anymore and I need to have one idea that I can articulate clearly. We touched upon what is a big idea, the problems of my clients as well, and the reason behind those problems. So if you have not seen those first two videos, I would probably recommend checking those out because this is, like I said, the third one in the series. So now that we know why I transitioned into helping my clients with their big idea, what their problems are, what do I feel is the reason behind all of those problems, I thought, okay, let me just start by bucketing those problems into different categories, right? Or different buckets. So one of the problems of my clients or my prospects is they do not have a differentiated brand. Their content is not resonating. They are overly dependent on referrals. They are finding it hard to balance client work and content creation. And finally, they do not have a cohesive content strategy. Okay, and I missed out one more, which is there's too much of expertise to convey. So these are the problems of my prospects or my clients, and this is what I really want to say. How do I marry the two? How can I convert my multi-layered expertise, because I can solve many problems, but how can I convey it to a people in a way that it resonates with them and they're pulled towards my brand without really diluting what I stand for? How can I crystallize my point of view into something succinct? So, how do I build a big idea that addresses these problems but also captures my unique vision for solving these problems? From the beginning, I've said that this process is extremely messy. Okay, there is no point in really being attached to perfection. Let me just start writing a few rough big ideas. Okay, and so the template that I use, which I have again borrowed from my heroes Jay Akunzo, maybe also a little bit from Alistair McDermott. I have borrowed the template, which is the stop start template, because that is ultimately what a big idea is, that you're asking your audience to stop doing this and start doing that. So, to take the example of Simon Sinek says that stop leading with what you sell, start leading with why you exist. That is how his big idea fits into this template. And so, yes, that's where we begin. So, the first level where we actually start is the whole concept of referrals versus content creation. A lot of my clients, when I ask them, okay, why do they want to create content? Their reply was that, okay, they are just tired of being dependent on the referrals. They want a content engine. They want to have inbound leads. So that is the very basic step, the level one phase that I can start off with, which means that I can say something like stop depending on the referrals, start content creation. Or I can say stop mm, stop running behind clients, start attracting them, or attract them instead. I could use a metaphor saying that stop being a fox that runs behind clients, be a spider that attracts them. Very good start, because I am definitely tapping into a specific problem. But here I'm selling more of a category. This is not really my point of view. It's a start again. So we are not criticizing any step in the process. This is a good first step, but it is not enough, because I am not trying to convince them to start content creation. In fact, that is not an ideal audience for me. An ideal audience for me is someone who's already convinced that content creation is going to help them build a better business. They're already convinced that they do not want referrals and they want inbound leads. So the convincing part has been done before. So yes, I definitely cannot stop here, because of which I need to dig deeper and go to level 2. And so when I went to level 2, this is how my thinking unfolded. So if they are already creating content, or if they have thought about creating content, what is my unique vision and why do I think their content is not really working? Well, I leaned into my point of view, which is stop creating transactional content, start creating stories. I'm intentionally going to keep the typo there because I just want to show how messy this whole process is in general. Or stop creating corporate content, something like that, and start creating content that feels personal or resonates. Or I could say, stop being this another person on the internet, or stop being fake on the internet and start being authentic. Okay, okay, not bad, not bad. So now I'm not selling a category process, but I'm selling my way of creating content. Maybe one more that I should add is stop building a brand, start building relationships. This is definitely progress from level 1, because now I'm digging deeper and I'm giving them a sneak peek into my way of creating content. This is progress, but yet still not the final answer, because sounds a little vague, sounds a little generic, and it doesn't very clearly carry my point of view. It still feels incomplete for reasons I can't quite explain yet. Which sort of now takes me towards level 3. What is the implication of, let's say, transactional content? Like, what is the implication of creating corporate content? And one theme that kept emerging was this theme of commodity content. Commodity content is what? Like content that looks like everybody else's, whereas signature content is content that is uniquely yours. Okay, now we are getting somewhere, right? Because we are criticizing the old game of creating commodity content, which is content that, just is noise. You cannot really differentiate your content from your competitors' content because it all looks the same. But can I help my audience create signature content, content that looks like them, feels like them, smells like them? That is what I really, really want to do. I really, really feel motivated to do. And so, can I lead with a point of view which is, hey, stop creating commodity content and start creating signature content? And the feedback that I got from this from a friend of mine is that, okay, this is great. This is definitely progress, but this is definitely not it, because this is still a job to be done. No one really gets up in the morning and says, hey, I want to start creating commodity content. Of course, they want to create signature content. So this is more of like what they want to achieve. This is more of a job to be done. And of course, maybe my homepage still carries this message which says, hey, stop creating commodity content and start creating signature content. That can be a foundation of my point of view, of my big idea, but it cannot be the ultimate big idea. So we need, or I felt the need to dig a little bit further, which is when I went to level 4. So level 4 is where I felt I was really getting close to what I wanted to criticize. So I, again, this is building up on top of all of these levels. These levels had to be in place because level 4 is actually being built on top of level 1, 2, and 3, which act as foundational pieces, and level 4 is like the culmination of all of that. So I thought, okay, like, what ties everything together? What is commodity content? What are they? Why is commodity buying content being created? Why is transactional content being created? Why are they not telling stories? Why does their content feel fake? Then I felt, okay, I think what I'm really criticizing is writing for the platform. Like, there, we are obsessed with writing for the platform. We are writing for the algorithm. We are writing for looking good or being seen as an expert. And there is something off about it. Can we write based on our unique perspective? Can we have our authentic point of view? So here again, I start criticizing a game. So what does the stop start framework look here? So stop going behind algorithms, lean into your unique perspective, or stop thinking about the platforms. Write for yourself. Stop thinking about hooks. Write your authentic message, where I want to go. So this has taken a good shape now. I think what I'm essentially trying to say is that forget about your awareness, forget about writing for the algorithm, forget the algorithm. Can we lean into your unique perspective? So this is a raw material. I still don't think the idea is there yet, but in the next video I'll wrestle with the final culmination. Like, what does all of this turn into? What does the end point look like? What does the manifesto look like? What does the one liner look like? Because I still need to polish this a little bit. So that is what I would be covering in the next video, which I think will be the last video in this series, because I will have at least the first version 1.2 of my big idea, which I can run with, try it on for size and see where it takes me. So see you in the next video. Thank you.